Have you ever screamed at someone and immediately wished you could take it back, or made a decision in anger that destroyed an opportunity forever? That's the cost of letting your emotions run the show. But imagine this, a life where you control your emotional responses instead of them controlling you. A life where every reaction is deliberate, every decision calculated, every moment fully yours. If you're ready to take control of your mind and unlock unstoppable confidence, hit that like button and subscribe. Because mastery over your emotions isn't optional, it's essential. Emotions are incredibly powerful forces that shape every decision we make, often without us even realizing it. They are the invisible currents running beneath our daily actions, influencing how we think, how we react, and ultimately, how our lives unfold. When left unmanaged, emotions can silently sabotage us in ways we don't immediately recognize. For example, anger can lead to rash decisions that damage relationships or destroy opportunities. Fear can freeze us in our tracks, preventing us from pursuing goals or stepping into new experiences. Even seemingly positive emotions like excitement or passion, if uncontrolled, can push us to make impulsive choices that have long-term consequences. The key issue is that most people treat emotions as commands, rather than signals. They respond to feelings as though they are absolute truths that must be acted upon immediately, without pause or reflection. This automatic reaction puts them at the mercy of their emotional state, making them vulnerable to regret, conflict, and setbacks. Understanding that emotions are not commands but indicators is the first step toward mastery. They are messages from your mind and body designed to alert you, inform you, and guide you, but they are not directives to act immediately. The moment you start observing your emotional responses instead of reacting instantly, you gain power. You create a space between stimulus and action, a pause that allows rational thinking, perspective, and choice to intervene. By doing this consistently, you prevent destructive patterns from taking root and instead channel emotional energy toward constructive outcomes. Mastering this principle transforms your life. You start making deliberate, conscious decisions rather than reacting instinctively. Your relationships improve, your productivity increases, and your overall sense of control and confidence strengthens. In essence, recognizing the power of emotions and not allowing them to dominate your decisions is the foundation of personal freedom, success, and lasting resilience. Emotional mastery begins with self-awareness, and this is the cornerstone of controlling your reactions and shaping your life. Most people go through life reacting automatically to whatever emotion surfaces, without understanding why they feel a certain way or what triggers their responses. Self-awareness is the skill of recognizing these triggers and understanding the patterns behind your emotional reactions. When you develop self-awareness, you start to notice the subtle signals your body and mind send before an emotion fully takes over. Maybe your chest tightens when you're stressed, or your voice rises when frustration builds. These are clues, early warnings that give you a chance to respond consciously rather than react impulsively. Without this awareness, emotions control you like a runaway train, and decisions made in the heat of the moment often lead to regret. Developing self-awareness requires honest reflection and consistent observation of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Journaling, mindfulness exercises, or simply pausing throughout the day to check in with yourself can reveal patterns in how you respond to challenges, stress, or conflict. Once you understand these patterns, you gain a powerful tool, the ability to predict your emotional responses and intervene before they escalate. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring emotions, but rather acknowledging them, understanding their source, and choosing how to act. For example, noticing the early signs of anger in a heated discussion allows you to pause, take a deep breath, and respond calmly instead of lashing out. Over time, self-awareness transforms your life because it shifts control from your emotions to your conscious mind. You become proactive instead of reactive, deliberate instead of impulsive, and resilient in the face of challenges that would previously have destabilized you. In essence, self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence, and without it, no other strategy for mastering emotions can truly succeed. Emotions are powerful signals, but they are not commands, and understanding this distinction is critical for mastering your emotional life. Most people experience emotions as urgent messages that demand immediate action, leading them to act impulsively or react in ways they later regret. Anger feels like a call to confront, fear feels like a call to retreat, and sadness can feel like a signal to withdraw. While emotions are indeed intense and compelling, they are not instructions. They are indicators of what is happening inside you and around you. They inform you about your values, your boundaries, and your needs, but they do not dictate the best course of action. Recognizing this difference is transformative. When you start seeing emotions as information rather than commands, you gain the ability to pause and make conscious decisions. For instance, when you feel anger rising during a disagreement, instead of immediately snapping or lashing out, you can take a step back and assess what the anger is trying to communicate. Is it a boundary being crossed, a fear being triggered, or a past wound being activated? By analyzing the message, you can respond intentionally rather than react reflexively. This mindset allows you to channel emotional energy in productive ways, turning potential conflicts into opportunities for clarity and growth. Moreover, it prevents emotions from controlling your life by giving you the space to choose responses aligned with your long-term goals rather than short-term impulses. Understanding emotions as signals also builds emotional resilience. You begin to tolerate discomfort without losing control. You learn to navigate stress without panic, and you respond to challenges with calm precision. Over time, this approach rewires your brain, creating habits of thoughtful action over automatic reaction. When you fully internalize that emotions inform but do not command, you gain mastery over your inner world, and your life begins to reflect deliberate, empowered choices instead of impulsive, emotionally driven reactions. Controlling emotions does not mean suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. It means learning to channel them constructively so they serve your goals rather than sabotage them. Many people mistakenly believe that emotional mastery requires eliminating feelings, keeping a stoic expression, or shutting down when overwhelmed. In reality, true control is about understanding your emotions, acknowledging them, and then directing the energy they produce in a purposeful way. Every emotion carries energy. Anger can energize, fear can alert, excitement can motivate, but that energy must be harnessed thoughtfully. When emotions are left unchecked, they often erupt in destructive ways. Anger becomes aggression, fear becomes avoidance, and stress becomes paralysis. By contrast, when you consciously manage your emotions, you transform that energy into action that aligns with your values and long-term objectives. This requires awareness, self-discipline, and intentional practice. For example, instead of reacting with anger in a heated discussion, you can use the energy to clearly communicate your needs and boundaries. Instead of allowing anxiety to immobilize you, you can redirect it into preparation and focus. Over time, this ability to channel emotions strengthens your resilience, your confidence, and your decision-making. It also enhances relationships because others are drawn to people who respond calmly and intentionally rather than reacting impulsively. Emotional control is not about perfection, it's about choice. It is the repeated practice of recognizing what you feel, understanding why you feel it, and deciding how to act. The more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes, and the less power raw emotion has over your life. Ultimately, the ability to channel emotions constructively turns potential obstacles into opportunities. It transforms emotional intensity from a liability into a tool for personal growth, influence, and achievement. Mastery of this principle allows you to navigate life with clarity, purpose, and unwavering self-control. Your emotional state shapes everything in your life, your relationships, your work, and your overall sense of fulfillment. Emotions are the lens through which you interpret the world, and when they are out of balance, they distort perception and decision-making. Someone overwhelmed by anxiety may see danger where none exists, while someone consumed by anger may perceive attacks in harmless interactions. the energy of emotions flows into every action, influencing how you communicate, how you approach challenges, and how you connect with others. In relationships, uncontrolled emotions can create tension, misunderstandings, and conflict. A small irritation, if left unrecognized, can escalate into a major argument, leaving resentment and distance in its wake. Conversely, emotional awareness and regulation enable empathy, patience, and constructive engagement, strengthening bonds and trust. At work or in personal pursuits, emotions directly affect productivity and performance. Fear or self-doubt can prevent you from taking risks, pursuing opportunities, or speaking up when necessary. Excitement or passion, if unbridled, can lead to overcommitment or impulsive decisions that derail progress. By mastering your emotional state, you maintain clarity, focus, and consistency in your actions, allowing you to pursue goals with precision and confidence. Furthermore, emotional stability contributes to resilience. Life inevitably presents setbacks, conflicts, and disappointments, and those who are governed by their emotions are often thrown off course. Those who manage their emotional responses instead face challenges with perspective and composure, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. Developing control over your emotions is not about eliminating feelings. It's about understanding their influence and ensuring they serve rather than sabotage your intentions. By doing so, you create a foundation for success in every area of life. Your emotions become allies, guiding and energizing your choices, instead of acting as unpredictable forces that undermine your potential and happiness. Small daily practices can have a profound impact on your ability to control and master your emotions, yet most people underestimate their significance. Emotional mastery is not achieved overnight. It is built gradually through consistent, intentional actions that strengthen awareness, self-discipline, and resilience. Simple routines like deep breathing exercises, journaling, meditation, or mindful reflection create moments of pause that allow you to observe your emotions before reacting. These practices train your mind to recognize triggers, patterns, and the subtle signals your body sends when emotions begin to rise. For example, taking a few minutes each morning to journal about your thoughts and feelings can reveal recurring stressors or areas of unresolved tension. This awareness becomes a roadmap for managing reactions and making conscious choices throughout the day. Mindful breathing exercises help create a physiological reset, reducing the intensity of anger, anxiety, or frustration in real time, giving you space to respond instead of react. Over time, these small practices accumulate, creating neurological pathways that make emotional control more automatic. The brain begins to respond to stress or emotional triggers with measured calm rather than impulsive reaction. Even simple habits like pausing before answering an email, taking a short walk to clear your mind, or reflecting on your day's emotional highs and lows can strengthen your capacity for self-regulation. Importantly, these daily practices foster resilience, enabling you to face challenges without being overwhelmed. They also improve decision-making, communication, and relationships because your responses are deliberate rather than driven by unfiltered emotion. Consistency is key. Sporadic effort produces limited results, whereas repeated, small actions build lasting mastery. By integrating these habits into your life, you gradually transform your emotional landscape. What once seemed uncontrollable becomes manageable, empowering you to navigate stress, conflict, and pressure with clarity, composure, and intentionality, ultimately giving you command over your internal world. Acting in the heat of emotion often leads to regret, and this is one of the most common traps people fall into. When anger, fear, jealousy, or even excitement rises, the natural human tendency is to react immediately, as if the emotion itself demands action. This instinctive response can result in words spoken that wound, decisions that close doors, or actions that create consequences far beyond what was intended. The problem is that in these moments, clarity and reason are often overshadowed by the intensity of the feeling. Anger can make small slights feel like personal attacks, leading to confrontations that escalate unnecessarily. Fear can make risks appear insurmountable, preventing opportunities from being seized. Excitement or passion, if unchecked, can prompt impulsive decisions that later require undoing or correction. Learning to pause, even for a brief moment, is critical in preventing emotional hijacking. That pause is the space where choice replaces reaction, where perspective enters, and where deliberate action can be taken. This does not mean avoiding or denying emotions. It means acknowledging them, understanding their source, and then deciding how to respond in a way that aligns with your goals and values. By practicing this consistently, you develop a natural rhythm of thoughtful responses rather than knee-jerk reactions. Over time, this ability to manage your behavior in emotional moments builds confidence, strengthens relationships, and improves decision-making. It also reduces the stress and regret that come from impulsive actions, creating a sense of control over your life that others may envy. The more you train yourself to act from choice instead of reaction, the more resilient and grounded you become. Mastering this principle transforms the way you navigate daily life, ensuring that your emotions serve as guides rather than tyrants, and that each decision is intentional, precise, and aligned with the person you want to be. Consistent emotional discipline is the foundation for building resilience and cultivating unstoppable inner strength. Life constantly throws challenges, setbacks, and unexpected pressures our way, and without control over our emotional responses, these situations can overwhelm us. Emotional discipline is the practice of regulating your feelings, thoughts, and reactions deliberately, even in the most intense circumstances. It's about developing the ability to pause, observe, and choose how to respond, rather than allowing impulses to dictate your behavior. This discipline is not innate. It is cultivated through repeated practice, reflection, and conscious effort. Each time you encounter frustration, fear, or anger and respond with calm awareness instead of reaction, you strengthen the mental and emotional pathways that support control. Over time, this creates a feedback loop. The more you exercise discipline, the easier it becomes to remain composed in high-pressure situations. This consistency builds resilience because it trains you to withstand emotional turbulence without being derailed. Challenges that once felt insurmountable begin to appear manageable, and obstacles transform into opportunities for growth and learning. Emotional discipline also sharpens focus and decision-making, as you are less likely to be swayed by fleeting moods or impulsive urges. It impacts relationships positively because consistent control over your emotions fosters trust, stability, and reliability in interactions with others. Furthermore, it strengthens self-confidence, as you know that no matter the external circumstances, your internal state remains steady and intentional. Ultimately, this practice develops an inner strength that is unshakable, a calm center from which you can act with clarity and purpose. It allows you to navigate life with authority over yourself, rather than being at the mercy of your reactions or the chaos around you. Through consistent emotional discipline, you gain mastery over your inner world, creating a life defined not by reactive patterns, but by deliberate, empowered choices that build resilience, influence, and unstoppable personality.